Check. Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com, and it's 4 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, October 29th. Looking back at yesterday's session real quick, uh, just from single print to single print for the Russell and just going up there and consolidating. And then a little bit weaker with the NASDAQ, just basically after popping up from Friday's settlement above this distribution at 20,603 quarter. Uh, Once the opening bell rang, we pushed under that level, right, and then come back up, retested it uh, in the 11 o'clock hour, and then just went right back down the whole day. It was basically a slow bleed down. So this is another example of, again, to me, and I've seen more days like this lately. I think we've had one day of buying between the bells in the last 12 sessions, and every other day has either been chop or just an overnight pop up and then just selling the entire bell session. Uh, so that's, and keep in mind that in the overnight action, you got about 15 to 18% of the volume for the day that's going to trade for the futures, and most stocks are, not even on the table to play. So the distribution, there's just selling that's been going on up here this entire time as we've been retesting these highs, which uh, is pretty unusual. Like if you go back and look at the dot-com bubble, it was an overnight down and then buying between the bells almost every day, right? I mean, you almost always had a small gap down and then just buying up. So, we all remember how that ended, right? Because it was a flash crash. So, this is a more healthy to me environment for the, you know, just because they're taking distribution up here doesn't mean it's hard to have a crash, right? Everyone keeps talking about a crash, 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 crash. It's hard to have a crash when they're selling it every day, right? We're going to get some pullbacks and everything, but keep in mind this is nothing like the .com era. Just throwing that out there. So, and then for the ES, you've got distribution down into these single prints, and for the Dow distribution up in these single prints, leaving this lower set. Uh, if we look at structure, the only one that had any structure yesterday was XS&A at 2247.20 for the Russell. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Again, the title of my video is JOLTS. That's going to be at 10 o'clock this morning. And then really that's going to be our first main news event for the week, and we'll just have to see if it creates any volatility or not. It can be a complete dud, or it can be like a 2-star to 3-star red event. And then as we look at, tomorrow we're going to have core PCE. Friday we're going to have non-farm payroll, and then I'm sorry, tomorrow we're going to have advanced GDP. So JOLTS today, advanced GDP tomorrow, core PCE Thursday, non-farm payroll Friday. Tonight after the bell, as mentioned in my title, we got Google. That can come right at 4 o'clock. So it'll be somewhere between 4 and 4:20, and whenever they release it, it will go, right? It can go right at 4, 1 second after 4 o'clock. So you don't really want to be holding anything as a crapshoot. You want to get out of everything before 4 o'clock. Then tomorrow we're going to have Meta and Microsoft. Then Thursday after bell we're going to have Amazon and Apple. Uh, Looking at future or looking at positioning real quick, we have 35,000 contracts basically at 497 on the Qs. The Qs are trading 495.16 right now, so that'd be about 70 points higher than we're currently trading, maybe 72. So if we add that up, so you're looking at 20,500 and let's just say 60 is right around where that's going to be uh, for this 497, and then we'll have to, you know, see, but that's gonna be your pivot point and probably also a magnet for today. So I'm not gonna beat this up too much, but this could be a draw, right? It's an above or below level, and also as you get either strength or weakness from strength from being under it, you can go run right back to it. Weakness from above it, you can run back to it, and you can go back and forth. It's gonna be something that is a magnetic draw, and you can get drawn past it pretty far like a slingshot. So that is your bogey for the day. It's a very large position. Uh, Nothing. You got 58.50 for the cash market. The cash market closed at 58.23. We're down 12. So basically, that would be about 35 points up higher than we are for the ES right now. So that would make it right around 58.85. Looking at the SPY, there's really nothing on there that is notable. Uh, so we've got points of control that were untested from Friday at uh, 58.45 in the futures, and then yesterday's was 58.70. So above, 70, below 45. After the bell rings, we'll see what gives there. And we have now hit, uh, two times in the recent session up here at this 20,680 for the NASDAQ. Now we want to see if 20,517 ends up being, resistance if we fall below it or not. And then for the ES, we want to see if what happens if we get a test of 20,000, or I'm sorry, 5820 quarter. 5820 quarter is where I'll be watching the test. Keep in mind that that is last Thursday's low for the session. So below there, uh, you're just probably going to take a beeline right to 5,800. All this is only within 50 points from where we're trading, so that is all definitely doable and on the table. Overnight action, 21 and a half points. If we look at where um, we are below that XS and A line and the Russell, which means for me, I'd be very cautious taking longs. You want to be very, they might be great trades, but you want to be very uh, proactive with your management of this trade. If you're going fishing down here, it better work. Uh, and you don't want it to this is not anything that you want to go adding to a position that's a loser. Not that you should any time anyways, but you definitely don't want to do that today. uh, for the NASDAQ, you have got below yesterday's low, but if you look at it, we're parked right back inside. And remember, the overnight action doesn't mean diddly squat with yesterday's low. It only means what happens between the bells, so we'll see what happens there. But the ES is soundly below yesterday's low, and so is the Dow, right? The Dow held above these signal prints yesterday, didn't even test them. Look at that low from yesterday up here at 42,523 basically, and now you've got right to the bottom of this block, which is 24,412. So we'll see if the top of this block ends up being resistance at 42,466 or not. Uh, Keep in mind that the NASDAQ has been the outlier of late, right? It has had a little bit less volatility percentage wise, and it has been a little bit more stable than the rest of these indexes, as it's just kind of hanging out up here on these, keep testing that 20,680 level. So any Pierce, over yesterday's high is just going to go up towards that 680 level once again, I think. So we'll see. Don't, you know, let's see what the 10 o'clock news brings. See if we get any type of a trend that comes out of there. Keep in mind that you've got that large position on the Qs at 497. That is going to be a draw. So if you get above 497, and then you get back under it later, it should accelerate when it crosses back under it. The same if you are start off under, if you go under it by a lot today, it could be something that you just cannot get over. So we'll have to see. That should be very interesting, I think, as the day progresses. And then we have that split at 20,603 quarter once again. I hope this helps you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.